What's up, guys? It's Professor Gnome, and we're back again with another new deck from Temporal Forces. And we're going to be playing Roaring Moon, specifically the Ancient version or Ancient Box. This deck pretty much focuses on the fact that, very similar to something like United Wings, this attack does 70 damage and 10 more for every ancient card in the discard pile. So as the game goes on, we're going to be doing an incredible amount of damage considering the fact that we run pretty much every ancient card available to us. So we're running the new ancient Flutter Mane, which pretty much functions very similar to Klefki, just turning off our opponent's active Pokemon's ability as long as it's also in the active slot. We run the new Great Tusk. We run the Volcarona equivalents, and we're not really using them for attack. We're really just using them to throw into the discard pile. Same thing with Koraidon, except we actually can use this one's attack in the early game while we're waiting for our Roaring Moons to be powered up. We also run Cobalion just for the Justified Law ability, making it a little bit easier for us to knock out things like Charizard EX, just to kind of get over certain damage thresholds. We're also running the Awakening Drum, so that way we're able to draw a card for each ancient Pokemon in play, considering we're almost exclusively running ancient Pokemon outside of Greninja and our Cobalion, which will only be on the board in very specific matchups. We end up being able to draw a large quantity of cards pretty consistently. Also, things like Earth and Vessel count along with our other supporter cards. So as the game goes on, we just get stronger and stronger and really are in a great position, which is why our supporter lineup is pretty much only ancient cards in order to continue to build up power. We do run one Boss's Orders just because of how important Boss's Orders is, but we also run Counter Catcher as well. Since the deck can sometimes come off to a little bit of a slow start, we want to be able to just grab exactly the cards we're looking to knock out and kind of bypass everything else. But yeah, so that's the deck, guys. Definitely let me know any changes that you would make to it or how you're planning on running the deck going forward. I really, really like this deck a lot. It's a ton of fun, and I think it's probably the best single prize deck in the format now. But you know, a lot of new things still need to be tested, so that may not be true. But it's definitely the deck most on my radar. But let me know what you guys want to see next on the channel. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you're most excited to play now in the new format, since we finally have all the new cards, and we're into a whole new rotation. But yeah, that's about it. We'll get into game one in a sec, and I'll see you guys there. Peace. Alright, we're into game one, and our opponent's going to be going first, so we'll see what we get. A little bit of an awkward start. We'll see what we're able to make out of it. Our opponent is playing the Future Koraidon, so they could be playing Future Hands or just a general Future Box. We'll have to see. Right now, I talked about it. I think I talked about it in the last video. I can't remember now. But I personally think that Future Hands is gonna be the best deck in the format going forward. I just think it's so incredibly strong that there's no way it doesn't just kind of take over the game. Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like it's just gonna do that. Let me get rid of the yeah. Get rid of this for now. And we'll find ourselves Radiant Greninja. Get this into play. Concealed cards. Find ourselves some pieces. Then what we can do, full Vitality. We'll throw that on there because it doesn't really matter. Perfect. We'll manually attach onto Koraidon for now. And we'll hold on to this for now. We'll pass our turn. In theory, it would have been better to like put the fighting energy onto this and discard the top card just because like there'd be no reason not to. But we didn't know that we would get the other energies and stuff like that, so we can't really play under that idea that like we would have got them. So we made this like safer / smarter play. I think the main problem with future hands, and I think it's like the only thing that's going to kind of hold it back, is that it seems very, very similar to what like Iron Valiant was at the start of the last like Paradox Rift set, where when Iron Hands was paired, or not Iron Hands rather, when Iron Valiant was played with like Metacham, and they just rotated everything, and it's like it either absolutely destroyed you or you were totally fine. It kind of feels like that. We'll go ahead and spin first. We didn't get anything, but that's fine. We'll go ahead and grab 2 Dark Energy. Place 1 down, then we'll discard. Perfect. We'll Pokégear here, see if we can find anything better. We don't, but that's fine. So, let's see. We'll grab ourselves the guidance for next turn. And I think we'll grab ourselves the... do we want the Switch Cart? I don't think it's a bad idea. Yeah, we'll take that. We'll Switch Cart. Go into that. And then we can attack for 90, which isn't enough to knock it out, but that's fine. We're a little short. In theory, we could have let the Explorer's Guidance go in order to guarantee the knockout, but I actually don't think that would have been a good play, since we're going to want this for next turn anyway. Definitely have to blow my nose. So, let's see. They're going to put the energy down onto Iron Hands. We will spin first. Perfect. We'll Pokégear for a Professor's Vitality. We can play this down. And then what we'll do is we'll Guidance. Find ourselves a Vitality and the Dark Energy. Let everything else go to the discard pile. We'll attach just to make sure that we have that. And then what we can do from here is we'll just attack, let this thing, get knocked out. We'll take 1 prize. Perfect. And so now what'll happen is Iron Hands can come in, knock us out, but it doesn't really matter because we're gonna have more than enough damage to counter KO it. And then once we do that, we'll be in a fine position. We can just repower up a Roaring Moon with a Professor's Vitality. And then we'll pretty much be in a fine position. But yeah, this deck reminds me a lot of that like very early format before where like you'd play Entei with Iron Valiant and just like cycle cards over and over and over again. And it's like if you popped off, you just won the game instantaneously. But if you didn't, then you just kind of lost. And I feel like that's going to be this deck. But I feel like this can just do it more consistently, and that's like the problem. Alright, so we can put in our Roaring Moon. And what we'll do is we'll attach. We can Vitality for 1 dark. And then what we'll do is we'll throw that onto there. We don't really need anything else, but I don't want to spin. So we can get the knockout here. Take 2 prizes. And then with Vitality, we can put on another energy onto our wing, the Volcarona equivalents, and put that into the active, attack for weakness, get the knockout there. Or we can just go in with Roaring Moon and attach manually and be fine as well. And then with the booster energy capsule attached to us, we should be totally fine to survive Amp You Very Much. So we should be in a fine position, all things considered, to end this game out. Especially if they have to find another... It would have been smarter for them to remove the energy booster capsule, I feel like. But in this case, we can actually just go Roaring Moon into the active. We don't actually have to worry about these. We can manually attach the energy because we know we already have it. We know we already do enough damage, so we don't need to play anything. We can just attack, get the knockout here. I don't think we're at threat of anything, unless I counted wrong. $50 damage to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. Yeah, so we're not at threat of anything. Because even if they were able to knock out Roaring Moon, we can always bring this in and then just attack and get the knockout after a Vitality to put the last energy on. So we're pretty much good to go. We can... What we'll do is just kind of be extra about it. We can always Boss's Orders one of these back up. So we'll Boss's Orders for the fun of it. Knock out this one for 480 damage. Making it easy. And I think this matchup, like, that's kind of the big thing. Where, because we have options to hit for weakness, we'll always be able to get around the Iron Hands and kind of trade equally since we're a single prize deck, which makes this matchup not as bad as other single prize decks into Iron Hands. Because of the fact that we have, like, Ancient Booster Capsule and things like that to kind of, like, we have options to get around Iron Hands, and it isn't super high HP. And we hit for weakness on Iron Crown. Makes it, like, not too bad of a matchup, all things considered. But yeah, so that's kind of the main thing. I think that Iron Hands with Crown is going to be the best deck in the format if we can find a way to make it consistent enough, or it's going to end up like Iron Valiant with like Entei and why can't I remember Kung Fu thing, Metacham, where it's like it either absolutely pops off and dumpsters you or is pretty terrible. And I feel like that's like where Crown's going to end up. It's like it's one or the other. It just depends on how consistent we can make it. But I have really, really high hopes for Iron Crown and Iron Hands together. So like future hands, I think it is the future. But that's game 1, guys. We're going to get ourselves into game 2. Hope you like the list. Let me know any changes you feel like I can make or better plays that I can make. But yeah, we'll get into game 2 right now. See you there. Alright, we're into game number 2, and our opponent's going to be going first. We open a pretty decent hand, actually, so we're going to go like this. And we'll see what we're able to get. Ooh. Iron Thorns. This thing kind of sucks. Reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. This attack 7 units for each future card you find there, then discard the future cards from the deck. It seems like they may be playing like the base future box deck that you get. Kind of seems that way. This card is like, okay, I really want to make this card good. This might become a trash, a trash to treasure deck in the future. That's a series that I know I only did 1 episode of, but I really want to do more of in the future because I really like that series. It's just, it's a lot harder to do than these cards. Why didn't they? It's just a lot harder to do than these other, than these other decks, because making good decks, play well is pretty easy. It's making bad decks playable. That's the real, real struggle. So what we can do is we'll manually attach to this, and then I think it's better we can sealed cards here. Draw 2 more. We'll Nest Ball for we'll Nest Ball for 1 more Roaring Moon. I think that's the best play to make. And then what we can do is we can discard Koraidon for 2 more Dark Energy. And then we'll shuffle with PokéStop. And then we can Guidance. So we can get ourselves Drum. And a Pokégear, send everything else to the discard pile. Then what we can do... We didn't find anything with Pokégear again. We're going to pass our turn. I think that's the right play to make. Yeah. Alright, so good thing we didn't play Drum, because we just got Iono'd anyway. Alright, and we're into Vitality, so that's perfect. We have kind of everything we wanted. We have counter catchers available if they do knock us out. This is weird. It's weird, like... So there's the peak acceleration, so they should power up their Iron Hands all the way. Would be the correct play to make. So what I think we do here is we Earthen Vessel away this. No. Earthen Vessel away this. Get ourselves 1 energy each. Then what we can do is place the energy here. We can Vitality to do 1 here, 1 here. How much are we doing? 90. So we need 1 more, so we can place this down. So we should be doing enough. Perfect. Then what we can do is we can attach here. Yeah. Alright, so that's perfect. So that way, when this gets knocked out, we'll lose 2 of those, but that's not that bad. Like, that's good for us. We'll do 1 of each back into the deck. Then what we can do is concealed cards. Draws us the other cards we're looking for. And then we can spin, because we don't really care about anything in our deck at this point. Perfect. And now, we can take the knockout onto Koraidon. Take prize card 6, because it's the best one. Also, if you guys heard that in the background, that was my phone ringing randomly. It's on vibrate, but I don't know if it came up or not, or if it was, like, super loud, because it's near my mic. There's an Iono. That doesn't really matter, but it's a little annoying. Because we should have enough damage no matter what to be able to knock out the Iron Hands here. So they do amp you very much. We come back in. There'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 120 plus 70. So we'll be a little short. But we do have Ultra Balls in order to get more cards in the discard. So we can put Roaring Moon into the active. That's totally fine. We're hitting for 190. Actually, that's perfect. So we only need... I don't need these anymore. So we can add Koraidon back. That gives us enough damage to get the KO here. Then we have Vitality. Perfect. Then what we can do is start attaching to our Roaring Moons to get these powered back up. Get ourselves a couple more cards. We can Superior Energy Retrieval, get rid of these 2. Give ourselves some more energy to work with so we can discard with Greninja. Perfect. And so now we can attack here, get the knockout onto Iron Hands, take 2 prizes, and we're in a position to take 1 prize a turn because we'll still have Counter Catcher available to us and we'll still have Boss's Orders, and so we just need to knock out an Iron Crown and the Iron Thorns or double Iron Crown, whatever it is. So we're in a pretty good position to be able to do that. And we should still have Vitalities available to us in the deck. They can guarantee themselves 2 cards. I don't feel like that's good. Oh, wait, they shuffled their deck with... I guess they're just trying to thin their hand down. Because they should have done all this first, unless they wanted to, like, guarantee themselves the... Unless they wanted to, like, guarantee themselves something specific. So we'll Pokégear here. Find ourselves the Vitality. Perfect. We have so little cards that finding the vitality is like pretty much guaranteed there. Everything we have now is powered up, so we don't have to worry about anything. So we can go ahead and take the knockout here. Yeah. So we'll go ahead and just take the knockout here. And then what we can do on the next turn is just go ahead and boss's orders the Iron Crown to the active, if we would so choose. And there's nothing they can really do to get rid of all the Iron Crowns. Like, it's not like they have like a professor's or something like that that'll allow them to like pick it up back into the active. But I don't know. I don't think this card's very good, right? But at the same time, I feel like I could make it work. Doing like a very similar version with like Roaring Moon. The problem is that the Iron Crowns are just such a liability when you want to only make this card work. It's not as bad when you're making Iron Hands work, but vice versa, it's like not very good. Though I feel like you don't really need the Iron Crowns in this situation, because you're already hitting for 70, right? So like 70, let's say you flip 3 for 170, so like 210. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. With the 3 Iron Crowns, I guess it does make it better. I don't know. I guess it's hard to say. I'm more and more interested by this card though. But yeah, we're just gonna end the game. Boss's orders up. We'll take this one. Hit it for weakness. Make this way easier. Two very different concepts of the same deck that we go back to back with. So hopefully in game 3 we find something a little different. Cobalion was prized both games though. That's kind of interesting. But yeah, I think this deck is just super good. This variation I don't think is very good, but I still, you know, same topic as before. I think Future Hands is going to be a very strong deck. But Ancient Roaring Moon, I think, is, without a doubt, the best single prize deck in the game right now. This thing is so strong. And just so reliable and so consistent. And it trades pretty favorably with Iron Hands. So as a whole, I don't know many matchups that this deck, like, genuinely really, really struggles with. But we'll see in Game 3 what we find. See you guys there. Alright, we're into Game 3. We'll be going second. We have an interesting little lead up here. Double Pokégear makes it so we'll probably be able to hit our, you know, our other supporters relatively easily. We can start getting attacks off with the Roaring Moon pretty quickly, as long as we get into like one other Dark Energy. Though our Roaring Moon just won't be doing much damage, it will be enough to KO the Manaphy, so that's pretty hype. Looks like we're against regular Charizard EX, which means our Cobalion will actually see play, which is good. Regular Rotom V, nice, very easy counter catcher and or boss target. So let's go ahead and concealed cards. Get the Dark Energy in the discard pile. Perfect, perfect. We'll get the Flutter Mane out of play. Grab ourselves 2 more Dark Energies. Then what we can do is we'll play down the Cobalion, place the Dark Energy down. We can Pokégear. Alright, cool. We'll Vitality for 3. Koraidon. We will manually attach. And then what we'll do now is just attack. Start applying some pressure. Get the Manaphy out of here, and draw a card. So Counter Catcher is available. I mean, it's not online, but, you know, we can make it online. There's another Charmander. Provided they don't already have Rare Candy Charizard, we're in a pretty great position. If they do just go Rare Candy Charizard right here and get the knockout, which it looks like that's exactly what they plan to do, things will be a little bit hairier, but like not really, because we have plenty of time to just kind of sit in the background and stall out for now. Yeah, so there's Rare Candy Charizard. They didn't actually have to use their stone in order to do that. They just already had it in hand, which is good for them. But what we'll probably do is, like, this will get knocked out here, but that's fine. We put Koraidon in the active, place another Koraidon, Pokégear, see what we find, and probably just end up... Do we have any fighting energy? No, we won't. We'll see what we're able to make. They're able to knock us out, though, even with the energy capsule. It's not enough health. But it's fine, because it gets the energy capsules in the discard pile. And that'll be beneficial for later. We can go ahead and place this down. What we'll do is we will concealed cards first. Perfect. And then we'll go ahead, grab ourselves the next one. That also helps thin our deck out just a slight bit. And then we'll Vitality here. And what that allows us to do is just bop bop. And really all we hope for is that we draw one fighting energy. We did. So we can place that down. We'll actually discard that in order to grab ourselves the other fighting energy and other dark energy from our deck. And then we can place this, go ahead and spin. Perfect, got us a couple more things in the discard pile, no problem. Put the 90 damage down, which is not a lot, sure, but it is enough for now. Just to set that up for that way, we will be knocking out. We will be knocking it out much easier once we get into our Roaring Moon, which is the real goal here. We'll be able to concealed cards for 2 and kind of go from there. And then Rotom V is always going to be pretty easy for us to knock out. We may want to knock it out sooner rather than later, because Charizard's going to knock us out no matter what. Its ability, like its attack getting stronger doesn't really make a difference for us, and we don't want to give them the opportunity to fill a board and remove something that's so easily KO'd. But we'll see how the game plays out. Oh, they went for the Cobalion knockout first, just to limit damage. The Iono's totally fine with us too. I mean, it's a little unfortunate, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. Getting our Roaring Moons makes things a lot easier, actually. So there's the Blazing Darkness. We can go back into Koraidon here. We'll just go ahead and place both Roaring Moons down onto the table. We can Pokégear here, see what we find. We do find a Vitality, which is good enough for us. We can go ahead and just play that off rip and attach. And then what we can do is manually attach from here. Don't know how much damage we're gonna do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not enough. We're only hitting for 120, so let's go ahead and we'll Pokégear to see if we get a new supporter for next turn. We did. And then what we can do is we can spin, see if we just end up knocking anything into the discard pile. We do. We can get rid of a vessel. And grab ourselves the extra little energies just for the joy of it. We'll go ahead and discard our fighting energy for now. Perfect. We'll Pal Pad a boss's orders and a vitality. Back into the deck. And then from here, we can Primordial Beat down. Put enough damage down that our knockout is guaranteed. And so pretty much what the path is going to be is that either one of these Charizards knocks us out. We go in with Roaring Moon. We counter KO. They knock us out. We bring in the next one, knock that out. And then we just power up one more Roaring Moon, which we should have available to us. So it shouldn't really be a problem. And if we have to take a single prize knockout, having the Charizard around also makes that, like, totally doable. So there's the Blazing Darkness. So they go into 3. We will tie them at 3 in just a moment. There's Great Tusk. We'll go ahead and Guidance for these two. Perfect. And then the question is, how much damage are we doing? We will manually attach here. Then what we can do is discard this and the Nest Ball. Grab ourselves the last Roaring Moon. 240. Yeah. So what we'll do is bring up this Roaring Moon. And the reason why we want to do that is if it comes down to needing to do damage with Koraidon, we really don't do much. So we want to eliminate anything, like anything that we're going to leave behind or like on the bench. We want to make sure it has as low a health as possible in order to kind of guarantee certain thresholds. If that makes sense. The Iono kind of sucks. But all we need is... Yep. Alright, cool. So all we needed is the Vitality, and we're pretty much back in the position we want it to be in originally. They will knock that out. But it doesn't really matter, since we can just go right into Roaring Moon. We can Vitality, do that into that, and pretty much guarantee ourselves the game. Since what we can do now, since we have Awakening Drum, we're pretty much, like, the game is over. Because what we're going to do... yeah, so pretty much here's what we're going to do. We can guarantee that we're going to get all the cards we need off just using Drum on our next turn. And that'll give us all the energy we require, one way or another, to power up the next Roaring Moon and score a KO, because we'll have a boss's orders already available. And even if we don't, all we need is Roaring Moon powered up to KO the Radiant Charizard. Which is another reason why we didn't use our Drum earlier, is it's moments like this where you're at like kind of the bottom of your deck, but you need to make sure that you have the energy that you'll need. Earthen Vessel won't help me here because all the dark energy is not available to me. It's in my discard pile. So what I need is my Spirit Energy Retrieval, or a Vitality, and or, you know, Superior Energy Retrieval or a Boss, or just a Vitality, or whatever, you know, whatever that looks like. And so between having my Awakening Drum and my Guidance, I'm pretty much guaranteed those options. So I don't think there's anything they can really do to beat me. And no, so the game's over. So we'll just place our Roaring Moon into the active and see what we top deck. We top decked in energy we don't need. So yeah, we'll drum here. And like I said, drum will get me all the cards I needed. So now I can Vitality, drop that onto there, and if I had to, drop that onto there. And with the rest of the cards from Vitality, that'll draw me to the bottom of my deck where I would get the last of the cards I need. So that's going to be it. Charizard EX, really not a problem for this deck. It can't beat you fast enough for you to just not hit the threshold where you're like one-shotting or two-shotting everything anyway. So like I said, I think the Ancient Box is one of the strongest decks in the game right now and easily the best single prize deck in the game. But definitely let me know what you guys think of the deck. Definitely let me know how you guys are building it or any changes that you would make. I could see a world of running more of the ancient Pokemon and just to like guarantee yourself just higher damage faster. So like running things like Brutal Bonnet, and more copies of the other ones just to like really accelerate the damage. But I don't really think it's too necessary, but I could understand the changes. So yeah, definitely let me know what else you guys are running in the deck and how else you guys are playing it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.